Welcome back, everybody, to the Speakeasy Podcast. My name is Victor. This is still Joey.
My name is... Yes, sir.
And first of all, Joey, Cheerios, my good sirs. What are you drinking? Oh, we have gone.
Yep. We match again, yet again.
This is not coordinated, by the way. We don't really talk about what we're going to be drinking.
I am still rocking, and I have to say, I stole this bottle from my dad. Sorry.
Let's give a shout out, Papa Eric.
Shout out, Papa Eric. But
we do love you, but
I'm still drinking that single malt.
It's good. It's good.
Sherry cask.
I didn't bring the bottle down, but I am because unfortunately this is the last of it. But this is the Glenmorangie 12 year that you gave me, good sirs. Glendronach.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. It was very good.
Yeah.
Now then.
Yeah. Shall I give us a little teaser of what this video will entail?
Yes, please.
All right. Well, we're gonna start the episode with catching up, of course, as we always do. Then on to the main event, the Titanic album by infamous, controversial figure, Mr. Kanye West, with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Yes,
a classic in its all right. And then, of course, Last Call, where I have something special for us.
Oh, nice. Good.
Yeah. So look forward to that.
Yes.
But with that, how have you been, my friend?
I've been good.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of fun with the gaming news that came out this week.
Oh.
Or this is I think last week technically, but obviously the ongoing saga of whether Microsoft is allowed to buy Blizzard or not. Have you seen this?
Is that happening?
It's not happening now. Initially, they put in a bid in January 2022 for $69 billion to buy Blizzard and Activision, or Activision Blizzard as it's called. Yeah. But it was contingent on it being allowed, right? Yeah, 69, of course,
Very, very gamer number.
Yeah, I know, right? But this last week it came out that the British government isn't going to allow that sale to go through because Microsoft would have too big of a monopoly on the online gaming, or cloud gaming as they call it, space.
I could see that. I could see that.
In some sense it makes I can see the reasoning, but So it's been a lot of fun catching up on rumors on that and is the sale going through now, because apparently the British government was supposedly the easiest place to get it to go through. So if it didn't go through in the UK, people are like, well, it's gonna be tough in Europe and in the US. So So I've been following that. Other than that, we just had a good time. The weather finally turned for the better here in Denmark, so that was
finally
nice. Some sun, not just rain. So I've been out biking a bit, going for some walks. Very nice.
Yeah.
How about you?
Nice. We had King's Day yesterday, so that's no, last week. Sorry, what the fuck am I on? But that was. I mean, it's so busy, man. It's ridiculous how busy it gets in the cities. You cannot walk through the city and just get to where you want to go because it's packed.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of music festival shit going on, so it's fun. Just had a few beers. Other than that, I also a little bit of news. That I feel like our fields cross a lot with. Yeah. And that's a Formula One and a music bit in one. And apparently, the rumor mill has produced a new couple called...
I saw this, yes.
Yeah, Fernando Alonso and Taylor Swift, of all people.
That's the baddest crossover I've seen. This is some straight out of anime villain arc type of shit for Fernando Alonso.
Yeah. Yes, it's wild. It was funny because they interviewed him, and the interviewer was making Taylor Swift song puns while asking the question.
I saw that.
So that was funny.
I don't want to leave too blank of a space, and this could be your love story. So that's pretty clever, I will give it. I don't know, for real though, do you think, he is the sort of very mysterious, almost like Batman Bruce Wayne type character, isn't he?
Yes,
so he would be the sort of guy, I think,
I would not put it past
either
right? him or her.
Yeah.
To be honest, yeah. No. Yeah.
But I could see it. I could see it. Good for them. Good for them. More power to you.
Yeah. I could see it. But yeah.
Okay. Any other fun stuff we should catch up on?
I don't know. Not really, actually.
No, interesting. I have one final bit though.
Oh yeah.
And that is, have you been following the Diablo 4 like videos or whatever since they're coming out? Because we've talked a bit about Diablo 4, obviously coming out in June.
Depends on what videos you mean.
Well, they had the open beta, the closed beta first, then the open beta, and then now they're rectifying or like taking into account what people said and stuff.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, it looks pretty good. I think they're addressing a lot of the issues. So I'm more hyped now than I was after the obviously I didn't play the beta, any of the betas myself, because I really want to go into it as a full game and not judge it off of just one act. But I think it's nice to see that they're actually taking into account what the players say.
For sure.
So good on you, Blizzard.
Yeah, finally. Good job, Blizzard.
Finally.
You're listening.
Right.
Finally, after like 10 years, you're listening to the customers. But oh well, it's a bit late now.
By the way, I have one final thing. Did you see final thing? Last week, the girl that got stalked on stream, that clip went viral.
No.
It was apparently there was a Twitch streamer called Ginny that was walking across Taiwan for some sort of project, and I forget what it was about, but and if you know, put it below. And she was walking, and then across a 5-hour stream, the same guy kept following her, like being close to her, like with he was like dressed all in black with a hoodie and like covered his face. Wild. It was very scary. And she just kept playing it like off and stuff. And then apparently some of the people in the chat called the Taiwanese police, and he got arrested. Like
sick.
It's like, well played, Twitch. That's pretty good. Yep. That's pretty good, actually.
Fair enough.
Very funny.
Finally, Twitch doing some Twitch chat finally useful.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, Twitch. Good job, humanity.
Twitch finally have some positive news around them.
Limelight.
Yeah. So.
Exactly.
All right. Well, if that is all right. Cheerios, my friend.
I think so.
Let's get right into the album.
The main event.
Okay, Joey, here we go. As you teased, it is time for a polarizing, critically acclaimed, but also critically panned album from an even more controversial figure than some of the people we've reviewed so far. We have put this off for a while because we weren't really sure if what he has been out saying, Mr. Mr. Kanye West, if we wanted to review him while he was wilding, because we don't want to bring more attention to the stuff he's saying. So we will take him as a person out of the context of this album as much as possible and his views on certain topics. And we will, as much as possible, just look at the music.
Yep, and the artist and the art himself itself. Yeah, it is.
Yes. Yeah. It's almost impossible to take him completely out of the equation, because obviously even for this album he was Kanye West.
Exactly, and he is tackling a lot of the shit that he did. Like
exactly, this album was born out of him being Kanye West, right?
Yes, of the spite.
So with that being said, though, it is time to review My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Famous album from 2010. Yeah. Now, I start these reviews often by asking you, was this a first listen? I doubt this was a first listen for you.
No.
No.
No. Hell no. I'll
start by asking you, at what point did this album unlock something extra for you? Because I feel like the first listen, you don't notice a lot of the stuff.
The thing is, first it was just the singles that I kind of wanted to listen to, but then when everyone was like, the whole album is just give the whole album a listen, it's way worth it. It took me a few times to get used to some of the choices made with especially with outros. The outros got used in a lot of the songs. Actually, took a while for me to get used to. But when I actually got used to it, it actually that's when I feel like it unlocked everything for me.
This for me I will say we reviewed Lauryn Hill, and she obviously produced everything herself on the album. But this is the first album, except for that one, where I go, there's much more to this album than just the words. Yes. There's the samples, the meaning behind the way he speaks, the way he does all the deliveries and stuff. So I agree with you. It takes at least a couple listens before you actually start catching on.
For sure.
And also, we should shout out here the Dissect podcast. That is a very famous musical podcast. Obviously, their second season was about My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and I've listened to that. It is a wonderful, wonderful dissection of how he's built up the album. So if you are into the more engineering of sound and how he's done it, definitely give that a listen, for sure.
I shall definitely give that a listen.
With that, we move into the first episode. So the first track, Dark Fantasy. I guess episode could also be fitting here.
Yep. And it's opened by a then unknown lil female artist.
Yes.
Called Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj.
In her worst British accent.
I actually think she does it pretty well. No, I will say it's not that bad. She has gotten a lot of flack for it, but I actually think it works pretty well.
No, it's what you got for me, man?
I love the intro. It sets the tone for this album fantastically well. It's a rewriting, a reinterpretation of Roald Dahl, Alice in Wonderland, something like that. Cinderella. Sorry, it's Cinderella. And the way Nicki Minaj reads it out is very, very cool. She uses obviously her at this point trademarked growly voice to some parts, and it works extremely well. Going from this fairy tale sort of vibe into a very dark and gritty and not so nice tone. That's very cool. With that said,
I love the chorus. It's really beautiful.
Yes,
it's really beautiful.
Yes.
I just like how it like bleed. Like you have Nicki Minaj, and then all of a sudden it just instantly rises. Can we get much higher?
Yes,
it's so cool. But yeah, it's like it's kind of his dark fantasy because he kind of got what he always dreamt of getting.
Yes,
the Murciélagos, the Diablos. But there was one line that kind of stuck to me the most. It was to drink until the pain was over. But what's worse, the pain or the hangover?
Yes.
Which to me says a lot about where he's at this point.
Yes.
Because obviously his escapades was a lot alcohol fueled. Yeah. Is what I remember.
Yeah.
So if this was his what do you call it? Sobering moment, then it's.
I mean, we should probably give some context because what leads up to this album is the infamous MTV Awards, where he crashes the scene and the stage. And pretty much tells Taylor Swift that she shouldn't have won it because Beyonce had a better music video. Yes. And before that, his mom passed away while having a beauty operation, like a surgery that he paid for. And so that obviously puts some scars in you. And I agree with you. It seems like he's been running from everything, and this is the point where he's writing down what that does to you, having that much money, access to probably drugs as well as alcohol, all sorts of stuff. For sure. And it's also him flexing all the stuff he's gotten. Right, he's gotten all the mercies. He's gotten the fame, the money, the clothes, the cars, the everything, right? The big mansion.
Yeah.
But it's also I really like the chorus because it sets up the can we get much higher? Like he almost feels like he's God at this point, right? It gives off that vibe as if he's sort of like enlightened or he's above all the rest, right?
Yeah.
So that's very cool.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Obviously, the chorus is sung by Justin Vernon from Bon Iver.
Yeah. Which features a lot on this album too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Other than that, it is pretty much there's some double and triple entendres and stuff in here. The stuff about if you speak Spanish, how you say broke in Spanish, mi no hablo. Obviously, it literally means I don't speak Spanish, but it also translates to I'm not broke, so I don't know. Like that's the so you that's a lot of cool like references in here.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, very cool opener. Then we come to Gorgeous.
Sure. Gorgeous, featuring Kid Cudi and Raekwon.
Yes.
Yeah. This song to me is very Kid Cudi like.
Yeah. He's also heavily featured on this.
Yes. If you put this on like Man on the Moon or something, like you would understand why it would be on Man on the Moon. Like it's a very Kid Cudi like.
Yep.
No. And the hook is so cool.
Yes.
I love Cudi's hook.
And is it a synth that's underneath that's playing the same melody as him?
Could be, but it sounds sick.
Very cool. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's tackling a lot of racial issues in this song. I
would think so.
And also he kind of claps back at all the people that made fun of him, like South Park, for example. Like what he said, like something of like struggling them with a fish stick or something.
Yes.
Which fair enough, but it's not my favorite song on the album.
The funny thing is, I know that Kid Cudi himself, he wasn't actually meant to be on the track, but he kind of forced himself on it when he heard the beat.
Yeah.
And for me, I agree. I don't dislike it, but it's not as memorable as some of the other tracks that are coming. And yes, it is it's just a social commentary, isn't it, on how hard it is to make it as a young, dark-skinned man in America, pretty much.
Yep.
He says, "What's a black beetle anyway? A fucking roach," and that kind of sums it all up, right? It's hard. But yes,
sure. I do like the electric guitar at the end, though. That's very nice.
I also like the Raekwon verse. It's also really cool. And I think it is very cool in general that he's managed to bring so many different types of musicians into it. You have
that's crazy.
Obviously, like producers like No ID and Pharrell and all sorts of people are in there, but also you have just like we said, Justin Vernon from Bon Iver. Now you have Raekwon, Kid Cudi is in the mix. And on a track we'll get to later, he actually mixes, I think it's 16 people in one, and it just works. It just works.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Then we move on to Power, track 3.
Power, classic. What a classic.
According to Kanye, they spent 5,000 man hours on this.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Shit.
That sounds wild. So I'm not sure. I mean, if it holds up in court, who knows? But it is a very, very iconic track for me.
Man,
one of the first ones I think of when I think of Kanye West. That this comes to mind.
100%. That and the music video with him just standing there and like it just panning out with
the Egyptian, all the Egyptian stuff. Yes, very cool.
So cool.
Yep.
But no, it's man, shit, man. This is such a good song.
I mean, the theme itself is kind of obvious, but I really like how he differentiates between the different types of power, right? And the last part of the song is very cool, where he literally breaks the fourth wall, right, and asks you directly, "Let me ask you something. Do you have the power to let power go?" And for me, that's very telling of where he is at this point, right? He's sick of having power, but he also understands that he needs the power to do what he wants to do, and the in between, right?
The duality of it, for sure. But it's also just the power getting to your head and like backfiring in some sort, like with his he mentioned his struggles with the public, and like his almost quote unquote career suicide.
I mean, it was not close. It wasn't close. I mean, it was very close to him committing career suicide. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. But yeah, man. Oh,
it's such a cool track. The whole beat is so well done. I really like the sample. It samples 21st Century Schizoid Man, which means Schizoid is like two different parts to you, right?
Yeah.
One that's good and one that's bad, I think is what he's going for here, right? Where one part of the power is good for you and can get you a lot of places, but it can also corrupt you a lot, and it can make you into a bad person, and it makes you into a person you don't want to be. So it's very cool.
For sure.
Also, there's so many references in here. And the verse 3 where he goes into how they say I was the abomination of Obama's nation.
Yeah.
Where he's going into... on one hand, I understand the victim, that he feels like he was the victim. Victimized. But on the other hand, this is the one part of the album where I go, this almost seems naive to not take the blame yourself. That obviously comes along on the album, later on the album, but it's really well done that here his mind is just, but they're doing it because I'm the black man and I'm the easy target, right? I take all, you know. So yes, it's very cool.
Yeah. That line is very iconic. The abomination of Obama's nation.
Yes,
that's a pretty weird way to start a conversation.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
and the outro. There is the last part of that verse where he goes, I got the power to make your life so exciting. If you really listen to that part where it echoes out after with the guitar, it changes into suicide, which is a very cool sound, it's like audible thing to do. And then he goes into the outro where he goes, now this will be a beautiful death, jumping out the window and all that stuff. So it was on his mind, and he said many times that whole thing did make him suicidal, and it's obviously it's showing here. It's not just something he says; it's obviously something he's gone through, right?
For sure, yeah.
So yeah, very cool, very very cool track.
Yes, insanely cool track.
It moves into one of the most beautiful parts of the album.
Man,
a 40-second interlude called "All of the Lights" interlude.
Yeah. With the beautiful violin and piano. Man. Is it Alicia Keys that plays the piano here?
No, it's not. It's someone even bigger.
Elton John, is it?
It is Elton John playing the piano.
Yeah. Man. Like, before All of the Lights, just having this in itself would be like, wow. Without anything.
So beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's literally just the piano and the cello, each taking a turn playing the theme from All of the Lights, but it works so well as a lead up.
It's so
beautiful. Especially because it comes after him talking about suicide, it leads you to think, okay, this is like we're in a church almost. He is in another, and you see the track All of the Lights. That's what happens when you die. You see all of the lights. Like thematically, it just works as well as it is immensely beautiful.
Yes.
So yeah, that obviously leads into All of the Lights, the main song.
Yep. And the brass that comes in.
It's so good.
But not just that. And then Rihanna starts singing with the drums coming in.
It's unbelievable.
Levitatingly good. Man.
He literally found the perfect voice for that. I don't think anybody fits that chorus as well as Rihanna. It just works, man. Her dark vocals, her grit, it's so good.
Yeah, I think in general Rihanna fits very well on Kanye West projects.
Yes, I agree 100%.
Yeah, but as well, should we mention all of the features before we get into it? Really,
we should say the choir, the intro, All of the Lights.
Yes,
it is. I think it is 16 people.
Wow. And
do you have them, or should I list them up?
I don't know if I have every one of them, but I have a lot of them.
Go ahead.
So it's Rihanna.
Yes.
Ellie Jackson.
Yes.
Kid Cudi.
Yep.
Fergie.
Yep.
Drake. Alicia Keys. Elton John. Kanye, obviously.
Yes.
And then I'm out.
I do believe that is all of them, almost. Let me see. I found the list because I was like, who is actually in there? Because it's very hard to pick them out. The Dream is also there. Okay. The who's produced it. And the one you didn't mention, La Rue. Do you remember the song Bulletproof? This time, baby. She's also in there, or like,
cool.
It's called Ella Jackson, but she's in there. It is just the who's who, and it apparently this album came to be by Kanye just booking all the studios in a Hawaiian studio, like all the rooms in a Hawaiian studio for 4 months. And he literally had all I think it's 4 rooms, and he had them all going at the same time, and they were all working on different stuff. And he just flew in world-class performers, producers and beat makers, and and they all contributed to different songs. And then they would rotate, and he would just come in and he literally almost worked himself to death. Apparently, he didn't sleep. He was the first one in there, the last one to go, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And so this is the result of them actually working with him on the song. 16 people, including when you get people like Elton John and Rihanna.
Madness.
And that is unbelievable.
For sure. Cuddy's bridge is sick.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Then Fergie's verse, I didn't like. Fergie, obviously, Fergie is a big name.
At this point, she was.
Even this works. Then Elton John and then at the end of Fergie's verse,
it's Rihanna again. Yes,
and
beautiful.
and then they lay a Drake over her voice too.
Yes,
in one of the sentences.
Last sentence.
And then to finish off with Alicia Keys and Elton John, it's like, what the fuck?
It is just so well put together because you don't question it one bit that whoever's in there, it just works, and it is so beautiful. I will say the one thing that put like the instrumental, the chorus, all that works so perfectly.
Yes.
But the first verse is still to this day so strange to me because he starts out by talking about Michael Jackson, and it's just you would think you would start that song off differently, and I'm not sure anybody has ever gotten it out of him what it actually was about. That Michael Jackson, that right there. Obviously, he died at this in 2009, so it must have weighed on Kanye's mind a lot to where he put it at the forefront of one of the most well-produced and well-thought-out songs of this decade. It's
sure.
But it is so beautiful. Obviously, the whole speech about his child. He didn't have any children at this point, but this references the stuff he talked about in Power, where he references his creativity as his child, right? And it's a very cool way of like putting that theme into another like spin, into another dimension, because he takes it as if he's in jail because of what happened to him and what he did to himself, I guess, at the VMAs, right?
Yeah, basically.
And because of that, he can't see his child, and that's a very cool way of referencing that he was blocked. You know, when you're under that much pressure, it's hard to let loose and let creativity flow through you and be
for sure
the beat maker that he was before. And regardless of whether you have sympathy for him, it is a very, very creative way of explaining what he went through.
Yes,
so
100%.
Very cool.
100%. Yeah.
And like just like you say, the ending, Rihanna all the way through, Elton John and Alicia Keys in the ending. Wow,
so sick. Yeah,
it's beautiful. I believe he did say that this is one of his biggest achievements as a composer.
I could see
it makes
that.
sense.
Like, it makes sense. All right.
With that, then we swap gears a little bit, don't we?
Yes, onto a monster of a track. Gang. Track number 6, Monster, featuring legends Jay-Z, Rick Ross, and then newcomer Nicki Minaj and Bon Iver.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, the intro is just so cool. Justin Vernon.
Yeah.
I shoot the lights out. It's so cool.
Fucking sick with the fucking distorted.
It just works so well.
And then fucking those bombastic ass drums come in.
And this is a perfect beat for Rick Ross. He works so well on this.
Yes.
It's actually insane.
I love his first 2 bars. Like, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
So sick, yeah. But
it's just so good. I will say, obviously, the JC verse is probably the standout, even though the Nicki Minaj one is actually also. I think Kanye West has the least impressive verse on this, which says a lot. But he's also in company of some amazing rappers.
Yes.
So it makes sense. But yes,
I'm gonna give a little hot take.
Oh, go.
I didn't like the first part of Jay-Z's.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, fair enough.
I didn't like when he just lists off. It didn't flow for me.
I think it doesn't. I will give you that it doesn't fit the flow exactly, but the way of putting all of those characters in there as a tongue twister,
it makes sense.
It's impressive as well.
No, it makes sense, but but then afterwards he kills it. But I don't know. The first like when he just lists them off, I was like, what? Where are we going with this?
I've heard somewhere that he never writes down stuff, so he's probably freestyled this verse, which makes it even cooler that you're able to just pop this out. I was surprised when this album came out that JC wasn't more heavily featured, because obviously him and Kanye were very, very close. I think I don't know if they still are or not. I think it's hard.
I think
being
it's just
close
this
with
and
him
the
right
next
now.
song.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I feel like Jay-Z's talking more about like he's kind of like talking about how the people that are around him are kind of like just bloodsuckers and like
yes everybody wants to know what my Achilles heel is, like how
just coming after, or like turn like because he got famous, and that's why now we're gonna make use of him. But then Nicki's verse with that schizophrenic amount of vocal like inflection changes, accent changes, it's so good, and she just keeps going. It's sick.
Considering where she I don't want to say where she came from, but like her first album, how she pulled that off when she is this good. Or I don't want to I don't want to disrespect her first album. For me this is if she had made an entire album rapping like this, that would have been an insanely impressive feat. But this is so good. Like you say, her inflection, she's like this raw character. You can feel the hunger in her. She wants to prove herself.
Yes.
She's obviously been handed a golden ticket. If she does well here, the world will know who she is. It's so good. It's also a very, very like densely layered verse, and she just flows so well on it. It's just so good.
For sure.
And then obviously the outro, Justin Vernon again, very, very beautiful, but also very scary. I just like Justin Vernon, man. He does something for me.
She sounds so good.
Yeah, he just does. It's amazing.
Yep.
Obviously, by the way, the guitar on most of these tracks are played by Mike Dean, which we probably didn't mention, but yes, we should probably mention that.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we move on to track number 7, So Appalled.
Yeah. This actually, like, man, this song is so good to me.
Oh, really?
I don't know why. To me, it's very hauntingly beautiful.
I could go with
all the strings in the background and stuff. I really like this track. Oh man, it's the way this beat just kind of gets you in this eerie kind of mood, and then all of them give one hell of a fucking verse.
Yes,
like Kanye's verse is sick. Like
Jay-Z's verse
is incredible.
Yeah.
And I am not the biggest Jay-Z fan at all. I don't know why. I am not. But man, he goes off on this. It's like the jealousy he faces. Man, when he's like, I went from the favorite to the most hated.
Yeah.
Would you rather be overpaid or underrated? So sick.
Yes.
Then Pusha T comes in with one hell of a line where it's like, CNN told me I would be dead at 21.
Blackjack, I just pulled an ace. Yeah.
Fuck. So sick, man.
I mean, the thing about it is, at this point, JC is obviously the biggest rap star in the world.
Yes.
And he comes in with a different perspective because he's obviously sitting on top watching everybody diss him and go for him. And then he delivers a verse just going straight for the throats like, what do you want here? I'm killing it. I'm killing it. Like you say, would you rather be like overpaid or underrated? Like, you know. But then Pusha comes in and he is a more, I don't want to say underground, but he is obviously a lesser known artist at this point, and he just has a hunger in him. This is from the streets type of thing, right? Where it's so nice. I will say I don't really enjoy the Swiss Beats refrain. One in the air, if you really care. I don't really. It doesn't do it for me.
It's all right. The thing I would want to say is it carries on. Like the Sci-Hi.
Sci-Hi the Prince.
Sci-Hi, not unnecessary in my opinion. It shouldn't. That verse shouldn't have been on there in my opinion.
It's not my favorite.
If they cut that, it would have been a little bit better in my opinion. But
it's also a very long track in general. It's 6 minutes and 38 seconds. So I agree with you. But I like the Riz chorus in the end.
Yeah,
that's very good
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
But yes, all in all, I agree with you. Very, very good track.
Yes.
Now then, Devil in a New Dress, track 8.
Yeah.
What a fucking beat! Oh, this hits the spot for me.
Okay, I'm gonna say something. Yeah?
Oh, here we go. Is this the reverse where you go?
This is the hot take.
Oh no!
I have nothing bad to say about the production and the beat. Nothing. But the rest of the song is overrated as fuck.
Oh, the verses you mean?
I think it's boring as hell.
I see where you're coming from. I definitely see where you're coming from.
It's Rick Ross's verse is very good and one of his best verses.
Yes,
but it's not enough for me to be like, I'm getting invested into this track.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I love the Rick Ross. If this was just a Rick Ross and he had 3 verses like this, it would be an S tier song. Because I love this beat. I like this is such a clean beat. But I also agree with you. The Kanye Wests are kind of. It's not my favorite either. I don't know. I can't. It just seems like obviously the theme is like the devil in a new dress, like the what do you want to call it, like when you get the baits or when you get lured in all the vices that are there. Temptations, yes, exactly. Also his his references to himself, where he says hood phenomenon, the LeBron of rhyme. I mean, my guy, you are famous for production. You're also famous for needing help to write your tracks. It be what it be, and I understand that you want to seem like, but you know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. I think the guitar solo leading up to Rick Ross's verse, again, Mike Dean, was very cool.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know, just not very memorable for me. It's just,
the thing is, as soon as this track starts off, I'm there. The beat gets me every time.
Yeah,
it just fills the room. It's such a nice vibe. But I also agree with you. There's not a lot in this track in general.
Yeah.
Then we come to the emotional centerpiece of the album, I will say.
Yeah.
Runaway.
Yeah. With classic piano keys.
Yes.
Just whenever you think it's gonna happen in the song, like whenever you think the song is gonna happen, a few extra keys. Yeah, there's always some more. Yeah. But man, the thing that always gets me in this song is like the chorus.
Yes.
Like, let's have a toast for the douchebags.
Yeah.
So cool and so beautiful. Like the way he kind of distorts his voice in a way that, like, man, it's so cool.
The pre-chorus as well. I always find something wrong.
Yeah,
you've been putting up with it's so honest.
Yeah, and the whole theme of the song is just like, it's so introspective of like, and for him especially because he always likes to boast more about himself than like actually take accountability for his flaws.
Yep.
And in this song, it's just like it like he addresses all of that in one go. With, you know, I know I'm an asshole. I am definitely one of these. So please just run away from me as far as you can. Like, because seeing you get hurt because of me, like, hurts me even more.
Yes.
The one line that I found a little bit cringe was, "Send a picture of my dick."
I don't know what it is for females. Yes.
But that's just.
But he also, he admits to a lot of stuff that isn't cool to admit that you're doing, right?
Yes.
And that's very commendable because he obviously is someone that young people in America looks up to, and it is refreshing to see him take accountability for some of the stuff he's done.
Yeah.
It also comes off very, very sincere because the end part of the I mean, there's obviously this came out as a single and it was a phenomenal success. But in the full version, there is a 3-minute, I think, 4-minute part in the end where he uses a voice box to like sound like a guitar and get some of his emotions out. And supposedly he was crying in the studio when he did that.
I see.
So
that opens another box for me then.
Yeah, it does seem sincere. There is also a story about Pusha's verse. Have you heard this story?
I don't know about the story, but what I got from it. You wanna bring the story first, or?
Well, it just goes that at this point, Pusha had just broken up with his girlfriend, and was actually himself in a very bad place mentally. And Kanye kept pushing him to be the douchebag, because obviously the point of this verse is to show the other side of Kanye, where he goes, "I don't care, I did it. All right, let's move on. I'm this great. I'm amazing. Don't come at me." But Pusha couldn't deliver. Pusha was like in a mood where he couldn't. But Kanye kept pushing him to do it, and to the point where I think Pusha afterwards said it was actually a bit uncomfortable being that much of a douchebag when you're in pain yourself, and having to do that while being in a not so good place himself.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I feel like that's exactly what I wrote down. It's like Pusha's kind of being the opposite end of the spectrum in this song. Because Kanye is more like, please get away from me, like, I'm not good for you. And Pusha is more like, nah, you're gonna stay with me because living in luxury and like is like, even though I'm gonna mistreat you, like, why would you want to get away from this, basically?
And he also goes split and go back to wearing knockoffs. It's like you're poor without me. You need me. You need the money. You need all that. And he says you should leave. You can't accept the basics. Plenty holes in the baller matrix. Like it's just it's a very, like, I love this verse. It literally shows off how celebrities act. Right. It is a perfect exemplification of what the celebrities do that makes them look like douchebags. Right.
Yeah. But
it is also it's tough to listen to when you know that it comes from someone that was in pain. Pusha has himself talked about on Genius, apparently. And his verse, it says, "I feel like people have to make choices. If I'm going to admit it, we will get past it, or we will not get past it. We have got to weigh pros and cons. You're getting some honesty and a lot of other things. I'm not going to kill myself and live in that level of misery. Okay, we're going to get past it, or we're going to split up."
Yeah.
So that's the vibe, right? So it's very, very cool.
For sure. Yeah. But I do, like you were talking about the outro. Yeah. I do remember the first times listening to it, I always used to skip it because I couldn't get into it because it's 3 minutes of just him going like just humming the chorus. With one with the voice box like being distorted as fuck. But it did grow on me a lot, and especially because of the violin, like the dum, dum in the background, where it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like once you actually tolerate it, I would say.
Yeah. It's not the easiest listen, but once you get into it, it is somewhat hauntingly beautiful because it's just him.
Yeah.
It also they literally had to do this because he wanted to do it on guitar, but he can't play the guitar apparently. I think is the reason why, and so they had to build and I might be wrong on that. There was a reason though. For you could put it below if you know the exact story, but it was something along the lines that he wasn't able to perform it the way he wanted to, whether it be guitar or whatever, and so they built him a voice box, a talk box to get it out.
Yep.
Now this obviously came with a very award-winning music video,
for sure,
and with a phoenix in it, and stuff. Very beautiful. So if you haven't seen that, that's definitely worth a watch.
100%, for sure.
With that out of the way,
yes,
we come to Hell of a Live,
rock. Or is it more metal? Because it's from Black Sabbath.
It's from Iron Man. Yes.
Yeah. I this song is sick. Yes. I love the song. Yes. This is a sick song. Yes. Like you just distorted whatever the fuck it is, followed by the drums is sick.
I just think it's a guitar even.
Yeah, it could be.
But I'm not sure.
And it's funny as hell looking in hindsight because he got together with Kim Kardashian.
Yes.
Like, I want to marry a porn star.
No, but and he is literally talking about her, I think.
I know. No, I don't think he's talking about her, but
yeah, it says here in Genius, but since other lines on this album were inspired by future wife Kim Kardashian, famous for her sex tape, it's possible that these lines are about Kim. I always listen to them after they got together. I always listen to this with the thought that okay,
with
it's
that
Kim.
in mind. Yeah.
I mean, it's just it is. I think the most infectious track for me. That rhythm sits in me after I listen to it, and it's a very cool track to listen to. Also, it's one of the few occasions where his singing doesn't sound cringe. It actually works really well, the chorus, because let's face it, he doesn't have a good voice. But here it actually works, and he's auto-tuned himself to a point where it sounds tolerable. Because he could have easily gotten someone else to sing that part, right? You could have had a Rihanna doing it in a low register, or you could have had Kid Cudi maybe even doing it or whatever. But it works really well. And it's the whole after he goes, baby, we'll live a hell of a life. I don't know what it is. Does the pling sound?
Yeah, I think it's like the guitar, but like on a piano or something.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. It's wonderful.
I know.
But yeah,
I know. Yep. To me, the most beautiful part of the song is the outro, where, excuse me, everything dies down, the harmonies build up, and then, man, it's so beautiful.
Yes, I agree with you. That's one hell of a lot. Yes, it is just, and this is also very clear cut as to what it's about. It's about him wanting the better life, right? It's about him wanting everything out of life.
The indulgences, everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You want the good. You want
all the sexual fantasies, whatever.
Everything, right? So yes. I also like the part where he says, no more drugs for me. Pussy and religion is all I need.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, why not?
For sure.
Then we move on to track 11, The Blame Game.
Blame Game, featuring Jonathan the legend himself.
Himself.
Yeah, John Legend. And it is a long track again.
Yes, almost 8 minutes.
Almost 8 minutes. Lordy Lord. But I love John Legend's voice. It's always gonna be so nice to me. Like, I love John Legend.
Just in general? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I have the opposite, actually. I don't really enjoy him that much in general. I think he has a bit of a weak voice for me. He cracks a lot, but here it works. I don't think it's not. I don't think it's a hot take. I actually think he's very divisive. Either people really like him or they don't.
Yeah, I think so.
I just fall into the. But here it actually works, and this is the perfect spot for him, right? The he doesn't have to belt out every tone, every note. It just works.
Yeah. And I think this song was about what's her face?
Amber Rose, I believe.
Yeah. And this song is basically just exactly what it is. It's, you get the story. It's more of a story driven song.
Yes.
Like she Kanye showed her the rich life. But she fucked some other guy behind Kanye's back.
Yes.
Kanye's hurt and is now telling everyone like she wouldn't be shit without him, basically.
Yes, that's exactly what I get from it as well.
Yeah.
But the second verse is kind of more deep. I think he starts off saying, "You weren't perfect, but you made life worth it." So he's also still in love with her, like he's crushed by her being with another guy. But it is, for me, it's too long of a track to listen to at all. This will never go on a playlist, I feel, because it's like 8 minutes. You know, but it is very beautiful and very sympathetic.
Yep. What'd you think about the outro?
It's
the Chris Rock.
Oh, the Chris Rock one. That's pretty funny. Like, Chris Rock in general is pretty funny.
I still cannot get fucking the zebra from Madagascar out of my head whenever I hear him.
Oh, but I haven't watched that, obviously.
I grew up on it, so it's like, fuck, man. But no, it's just like, it's I mean, this just kind of fucking hammers down the point of like, without Kanye, this girl wouldn't have been anything. Yeah, and
it is it's classic Chris Rock, right? That is just how he does things. Very over the top. But it was when he was at his peak, I think. So
for sure,
why not?
For sure, yeah.
Then we come to "Lost in the World."
Yes, sir.
Featuring
what you got for me?
Bon Iver.
Bon Iver again. What you got for me?
Really like, once again, Justin Vernon. The intro is so beautiful. I also like the chorus in general. I think it's very good. The verses are kind of weird for me, and I don't really I don't want to say it's skip or anything, but it's not as memorable for me as some of the other tracks.
No, I agree.
But it's just about him being lost in the world and not really being able to figure out his place. He kind of has to reinvent himself after what happened with the VMAs, and that's how I read it. At least it's him kind of trying to figure out, where am I? I'm kind of lost right now. I'm a bit hopeless.
Yeah, I agree. I've got that too. It's kind of straightforward to me. But it does transition into the last track really nicely. Like, I think it's just a one-on-one, just full transition. It's just a continuation. I don't have that much to say about this one.
Understandable. Then we move into "Who Will Survive in America."
Who Will Survive in America? And this is such a nice ending to the whole album, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's just like, it just ends with the notion, just like, is all the fame and fortune worth it? Like, what do you lose in return? Like, all he basically, like, I feel like all he kind of wants is just a simple life without fame. But also he really doesn't.
Yeah, it's everything that this album is about, right? It's about him wanting to enjoy life, but also wanting to express himself and be the person that he is. But he doesn't really know how to do that without being an asshole to some extent. Or I don't know if I want to say like he is obviously mentally ill, but this comes off as him not being able to control his mind, I want to say, or like he's not he doesn't really know how to.
He's a little bit out of control.
Yeah, exactly. And now he is questioning whether he is fit for life in America, right? Like, who will survive? And it is obviously Gil Scott Heron who I don't really know, but who is doing the verse. So with that out of the way,
yes.
Now, should we start with a Fantano 1 to 10?
1 to 10. And since it's a Fantano 1 to 10, I'm gonna give this album a light 6, a decent 6. No, I'm joking. No, to me, I think I will give this album a 10 out of 10. It's
interesting.
Even though there's some parts of it that I think could be left out, I think them being in doesn't take away from the monumental like effort and work and like just talent he's poured into this whole album. The production is on everything is amazing, like flawless almost. The features are amazing. I mean, it's Kanye on his most Kanye. But yeah, this for me, this gets a 10 out of 10.
I get why, and I think it is a 10 out of 10 for a lot of people. It is not a 10 out of 10 for me. Ooh. And I actually debated whether or not to put it 8 or 9 even. And I ended up giving it an 8.
Okay.
And that's because there are too many of the tracks that I don't re-listen to.
I see.
And I think for me, let's put it up against other masterpieces, 10 out of 10. Like Good Kid, Mad City. There's not a track on there that you couldn't put on almost at any time on any playlist, except for maybe Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst, which is a very sad track, and you know.
Yeah.
But I think here, Blame Game, and like So Appalled, very long tracks, very heavy tracks. Monster also very long track. Now, with that being said, the production itself is maybe the best I've ever heard. Like he mixes and cuts and reuses and flips samples as no one else, and he integrates them in such a way that it's almost a completely, like, you wouldn't even know it's a sample if it's not because it's, you know, it's a sample because it's Kanye. It is extremely well done.
Yes.
It is, on one hand, if I had to rate it as just a like the Fantano 1 to 10 is how enjoyable it is for me. That's why I give it an 8. But if I had to rate it as an accomplishment for Kanye, I would give it a 10, because I don't think you will ever get better than this. You could say his first album is probably the one where you put most into it, and you spent a lifetime getting to that point to make that album, and that you know, that's fair. But this came to be under so concrete circumstances that you can never replicate that. You don't find that sort of motivation more than once in a lifetime. The events that led up to this, his mother passing away, the VMAs, he breaks off his engagement to Amber Rose. That will never happen again, and he made the most of it, even though it is it probably cost him a lot personally.
For sure.
Now, with that out of the way, a top 3 tracks.
The top 3.
And I think we will have almost two different ones. I don't think there will be a lot of overlap here.
Okay.
That's my prediction. I could be wrong.
Okay, I'll start with number 3. Well, I'm gonna give one honorable mention to So Appalled, because I really like the track. I just love the eerie, like almost depressing eerie just whole tone of the whole song, and the verses are amazing.
Yeah.
Number 3 for me is Power.
Yes.
It's just fucking it's
power. Yeah.
Yeah. Number 2 for me is Runaway. Just it's man.
It's Runaway. Yeah.
Shit. It's also it's Runaway. So and number 3 for me is All of the Lights, because it's the culmination with everything is just, man, it's so nice.
That's you chose the least Joey like tracks for me. I think that's good for you. Okay. In that case, we do have overlap.
Okay.
Number 3 for me is Hell of a Life. I love that track, and I think it works really well. All in all, he works really well there. Number 2 is Power, and number 1 is Runaway.
All right, I see you.
Runaway is the most sincere version of Kanye you will get, and it's also the only version where he is 100% honestly admitting to his flaws, where there's not a degree of, but it's also because I'm black and because you are after me or whatever. It's and I remember the first time I watched that music video, and it just hit me. And if you ever want to see a guy that is at once proud of himself but also in a very sad state, there is the first time he debuts that song and does it on stage. It is a very beautiful moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Whew. This is for me always a tough album to go through, because it is so emotional and there are so many different vibes in it.
Yes, and there's a lot. Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense that it's taken him 4 months of just working to get the theme for this song, the theme for the whole thing,
album.
put out, right? Because
for sure,
being able to go from Power to Runaway to Who Will Survive in America it's an accomplishment in itself. I feel.
Yeah, 100%.
So let us know down below. Right. What do you think about My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy? Yeah. Do we come off as ignorant? Do we miss a lot of the stuff?
Probably.
Would you rate it a 1? There are probably someone out there that doesn't like Kanye West or like this album in particular. Fantano, if you're listening,
rate it a 6?
Yeah, exactly.
Would you rate it a 6? Who knows? 6 out of 10. Yeah.
But with that, cheerio, my friend.
Yep.
And
Cheers.
we move on to the last call.
All right, people. You fucking know what time it is. It's time for the last call. Now, if you don't know, now you will. The last call is where we take our last drinks before we head out to the after hours. Now, first, the last call. What do we do here? We ask ourselves some good, solid, deep, and vulnerable questions. Sometimes they're fun. Sometimes they cut deep. Like last week, where we asked, what is love?
What's love got to do?
No. That's 2 weeks ago. Shit, I'm losing it.
Last week,
I'm already losing
we
it.
talked about pet peeves, Joey.
Pet peeves. Yes, we did. Anyway, now, again, as our social media manager, I put out the question to all of y'all. What is something you do or like doing that most people would find unusual? Now you can, while you think about that question, I'm going to read out some of the answers we've gotten on our TikToks and on our YouTube shorts.
Go ahead.
So, coming from user 99QDSLAXN0, I always take my own pillow no matter where I go.
That's a solid choice, honestly. That's honestly
fair enough.
It sounds reasonable.
Yeah, fair enough. Then, Nike 519 with, before I go to bed every night, I always stare at Google Maps, tick off all the places where I want to go, and give them a little stamp.
That's cute. That's a cute one.
Very cute. Yeah. And last but not least, Judo _ Igavesti _ EE with doing fake missions with my friends that look like military missions.
What? That sounds fun.
Yeah,
we should do
pretty
that.
Cool.
That's pretty cool.
Fuck yeah, that sounds pretty sick.
So it's
like with airsoft or something, and just
air guns. Yeah. Hardball, paintball, whatever you call it. Yeah.
Sounds pretty sick.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. Anyway, everyone, thanks for sending in the answers.
Cheers, guys.
We very much appreciate it.
Nice engagement.
For sure. So now, my friend, let's come to you. What is something you do or like doing that most people would find unusual?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good question. Unusual.
I could take the first one.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Because the first thing that came to my mind was D&D, Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah, you could say that.
Because there's a big that used to be a massive stigma.
Yeah, but now it's really common. I feel.
But over the years, I feel like it has indeed become more usual. But I still think people would think like, oh, like you just.
It's probably not that regular, I guess. You're right. I could take the easy one and go bowling, since I do that a lot. So that's pretty good. Yeah. Competitive bowling. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. If I go something more quirky. Yeah. What is that? What do we do? What do I do that's quirky? That's a good question, actually.
Yeah. Because I asked my girlfriend. My girlfriend this.
Did she have a
she
good
was
answer?
Like, I don't really know. The only thing she could really think of was D&D. For me, like I was like,
we're too vanilla. We have. Yeah. There has to be something.
I'm too much of a basic bitch.
We have to have something, don't we?
Yeah.
I know. Actually, I know. We could probably take my love of coffee. I do love coffee to the point where I have the big espresso machine. I buy specialty coffees. I'm now at the point where I would rather not have coffee than actually drink some like motor oil type of stuff that comes out and it's like burned and stuff. So in that sense, yes, that is something I do. I like treating myself with good coffee.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Wait. It is D&D related, but it's also it's a bit that's the less usual of the things. It's the collecting the miniatures and painting them.
That is a good one. I feel like that's a good one. It's a solid one. Yeah. Yes. So for those who don't know, explain what you do.
Okay, so basically what you do is you have 3D printed minis made of resin. Now you can either let them get printed yourself or you have a 3D printer yourself. You can either have filament, which is more of a plastic that gets melted and then forms, or you have a 3D printer where
it's layers. So.
You have a liquid resin that gets hit with, I think, UV lights, and they harden. So that's what builds it. But anyway, you have that, and then you can use those miniatures to play D&D with. So you have like props to play them with.
Yeah, and it's not only D&D, we should say. There is also the way you play Warhammer is the same.
Yes. Yeah. So I have a lot of those miniatures. I bought them like a few months ago, and I bought like a whole like miniature paint set. So I have been very busy with painting some miniatures lately. So that's been fun. Yeah.
And for those that don't play Dungeons and Dragons,
Yeah.
when you like tell the story, from time to time you will have combat encounters where the players face monsters or enemies of some sort, and to like help you and help them better visualize where they are in the field and what's going on, you lay out a battle map, it's called, where you like either draw or you have printed out the map, or if you're rich enough, you have a big screen where you have loaded it up on.
Yes.
And then you place these miniatures, the tiny figurines, on the battle map, and they obviously look cool, and you can play out what happens.
Exactly. Yep.
That's a good one.
So that's probably I would say that's the biggest one for me.
I can come up with one other one, and that is I have played too many hours of Football Manager. I don't know if it's that unusual.
I don't know if it's unusual, but
I do like to do that. And I introduced my girlfriend to it, and she now plays Football Manager. Not at a high level, I will say, but she enjoys it. And the part she enjoys is she gets to yell at the players in the halftime. And throw the bottle. Solid. Good managing right there. So that's good.
Yep, for sure. All right. Have you? Do you think you got anything else in the chamber?
I don't know. I feel like I wanna have, because some. You know, okay, I can actually give you one that's a bit more serious, something that most people don't do, and that is I'm very interested in art, so I do visit a lot more museums than most people do, and I take a lot of time, and I will, like this past year we traveled to Italy, and we drove to Rome exclusively so that I could see the Raffaello stanzas, which is rooms that he painted in the Vatican. In the Vatican.
Oh, the Vatican, yeah.
So I love art, and that is something I spend a lot of time on that most people probably don't.
Yep, that's fair enough.
Yep. With that, obviously, still hit us up down below. Any unusual stuff you do that... I like the one with the pillow. I should probably start practicing that. That's a good
Just
one.
take your pillow everywhere. Yeah,
that's good.
Exactly.
That's good. Bring your own pillow. I enjoy that.
Yep. All right. People, if you don't already know, don't walk out on us. Walk out with us to the after hours. Where we have a bit of a looser, just non-filtered, whatever the fuck conversation about anything that comes to mind. Also, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, where, just like this time, I post questions that you can answer that we will cover and shout you out in the episodes. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell. But most importantly, again, comment so we can interact with all of y'all, which is fun. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, I think that is it for this episode.
I think so, my good sirs.
So we hope you've enjoyed it, and see you soon.
See you.
See you out.
Bye-bye.
See you outside, motherfuckers.